Simi Singh holding that one back a wee bit, and it's very clear Zazi's intentions from the outset. It's virtually hit it out of the ground, Buzzy.
Yeah, he's played like that in the first game as well. Took Ireland by surprise. Very dominant on the leg side. We've seen that throughout the two games, and maybe today Ireland have all tad better, much better with their plans. Obviously Boyd ranking coming back in, that gives them a little more potency, a lot more experience. And Simi Singh's bowled well again, bowled well day before as well. Pace off the ball seems to work.
Asghar down the wicket. That's a fantastic shot, and it's clear the ropes over mid-off, and that's 1,000 T20 runs for Asghar. And what a way to bring it up. Fantastic shot, shimmied down the wicket and smacked it beautifully over long off for 6.
Great balance, body going through the ball, everything following the line off the ball, and it was a huge 6. It's a small ground, but that was struck immensely.
It's interesting what you say there. And again, for anyone watching, it's the shape. It's that foundation that he set to get the ball over mid-off, and that was clear from the outset from when he shimmied. He got into a beautiful position to play that shot. Great shot. And interesting now, Singh immediately coming round the wicket. Now Singh under a wee bit of pressure. Swept just in front of square hard. Beautifully again by Asghar. And suddenly how quickly a momentum shift can come in these T20 games.
Plays the spin as well. Full extension of the arm. The sweep shot to perfection. He's hit him down the ground. Now the sweep shot. A little bit of pressure applied on the off spinner.
And that looks as if it's 4 more. Indeed it is. Stuart Thompson out there. Couldn't gather the ball. And in the end, Simi Singh really having to do a wee bit of a rethink now. That's 14 off the over so far. Nearly a very good stop there by Stuart Thompson. But alas no. And 4 runs it is, as Singh elects to come over the wicket again.
He's always targeting that leg side and gets down low, so pressure built 6-4-4, and he comes back over the wicket for this last ball of the power play.
Well, what's even more interesting is he's only got 4 fielders on the leg side. 5 here in a line on the offside, and one would expect Singh having to get it a wee bit wider than he is at the moment. And that's the over, with Afghanistan into the power play, 42 for 2. There we are. There are the power play stats, and you can see really a period of 2 halves, Ireland in complete control, and the last 2 overs costly for Ireland. And coming into the attack now, star of the attack of previous game, Josh Little, 18 years of age, and did ever so well with 2 for 20, and Ireland will certainly be hoping that that continues here.
Yeah, Ireland started off quite well the first couple of overs, but this Afghanistan side is so dangerous. They've got power hitters throughout, and they're big boundary hitters. That's why they're so good at T20, because they're always looking for that boundary ball. Not so great pushing it around and getting off strike and getting those rotation of strike going, but boundaries come naturally to them.
So, again, Niall O'Brien alluded to it earlier. Josh Little, product of the youth system, had a very good Under-19 World Cup, played in 2 of those, both in Bangladesh and in New Zealand. And there's the wickets you can see. Chase, short ball, safe hands of Dockrell. And as I say, Zazai, they'll go in all places, but he clears that left leg. 6, and there was that magnificent shot. 2 sweeps to follow. And as you say, Bazzi, boundaries, they're so comfortable looking for them, and that's why they're so good at this format of the game. Interesting point, Bazzi, just how deep Zazi stays in the crease. He's virtually trotting on his stumps there, looking to give himself that arc which to hit the ball.
And always stays leg side off the ball so that he can swing it to the leg side or to the offside, have ample room for his arms to swing through the ball. It's always stays leg side off the ball so that he can swing it, the boundary hitting technique to the leg side or to the offside, have ample, and he does that from the word go. So maybe just hang it outside that off stump, maybe pack the offside. Now you can do that because the power play has gone.
Again, good variation of pace from Josh Little. Has 2 or 3 slower balls naturally, and that's one of the keys to his success. And that again you can clearly see, rolling out of the front of the hand and to 45, perhaps somewhat fortuitous, but that's what he does.
It's impressive in the first game as well with those changes of pace, and because of that he was one of their better bowlers, because he didn't let the Afghans get used to a similar sort of pace and get those boundaries away, because he was mixing it up so well.
And again, tight line on the tight bat. Daskar worked away on the leg side for 1. So again, a promising beginning here from Josh Little, doing very well for his team. Again, I would suggest well managed by his captain, not introducing him to him in the power play. And again, these variations of pace, his real strength. And good to see 2 experienced players like Kevin O'Brien having a word, calming him down. Not that he's not that type of character. He's a very easygoing character, Josh. And again, end of a fantastic over. 1 from it. Afghanistan 44 for 2. So there we have the Ireland bowling figure so far. Very good start from Ireland. Rankin started very well, and you can see that by the number of dot balls. Simi Singh taking a bit of punishment in his last over, but other than that has been very good from Ireland. And again, now we have a change. Bassi, the very experienced George Dockrell, coming into the attack. And there's the statistics. From Ireland, done very well at this. Now we have a change. Game, George Dockrell, the very experienced George Dockrell. It's good cricket from Afghanistan. This period of the game, it's quite interesting. I think the most important part is keeping wickets in hand, manoeuvring the ball around in this period of the game. If 6s and 7s, not that I should tell me Bazzi Afghanistan think about that, but certainly that was good cricket. Brings Zazi, the big striker, back on strike. Have you seen much of Zazi?
Just that previous game, and you could assess from that game that he's only got one way of playing. And you were talking about rotating the strike. I don't think he'll be looking for that, especially against left-arm spin, because his spinning back in and leg side is his go-to area.
It's very well bowled. And again, very difficult that just to get in under Zazi is what you've got to try and do, because as you say, clear that left leg and you can clearly see what he's trying to do. And Bazzi, it's clear to me Ireland have put a lot of thought since the last game into this bowling performance. Certainly look a lot more planned in what they're doing, and obviously having Boyd Rankin back in the attack has made a significant difference in terms of the shape of the team. But as Niall O'Brien alluded to earlier, they really look up for this game, Ireland, and in an effort to square the series.
And Dockrell in the previous T20 as well bowled very full, bowled a lot of Yorkers, and again he started off trying to bowl full, not allowing the batsman to get underneath him. It's a small ground straight, so for a spinner it's a bit daunting when you see that, but he's trying to bowl those Yorkers. And obviously with the right-hander on strike, it becomes a little easier for him because he can turn the ball away from the right-hander, be in with a chance, with a stumping chance. But with Zazai, he'd probably just try and push it as full as possible.
Well, he looks to be holding a little bit of that pace back to Asghar. More traditional type player. That's very unlucky from George Dockrell. Bowled that beautifully. And it's been inside edge, it would appear, for 4. And that's very unlucky for Dockrell. Bowled in exactly the right place. As you can see, wide outside off stump. Yes, inside edge. And away it goes. I don't know whether Gary Wilson might have got more on that than he did, but it's away for 4 and a release again for Afghanistan. That brings up the 50 in almost the 8th over. That again can have an effect. Smashed away for 4. Afghanistan 55 for 2 at the end of the 8th.
Lots of batting to come. Got strikers down the order. Shafiq, Nabi, Najibullah. They can all strike the ball. But right now, it's Zazai. All eyes on him. Left-hander made an impact first game. Again, 33 now of 26. And he's a big boundary hitter. Ireland bring back Boyd Rankin. Looking for a wicket probably. Looking for a breakthrough.
Absolutely right. And Boyd Rankin is certainly one who can deliver at this stage of the innings. And immediately beats Asghar outside off stump.
Dockrell for once missed his length completely down the leg side, full toss, and Zazai doesn't need a second invitation. Very strong on that leg side. We've already established that. He's terrific down there.
Again, good anticipation by Sterling, but just not there in time, and a good run from Afghanistan. Again, Zazi easily in. And this perhaps the most interesting part of the contest so far. And I think Rankin will certainly look to get it at chest level here. Wide outside off stump, and again you can clearly see with the field, deep fine leg, square, deep midway, got all four out in the leg side. And again, Buzzy, you needed no surprises as to where that was going to be bowled.
Yeah, but just ranking with that extra height, extra bounce makes it a little difficult. And once it gets up to that shoulder to head height, it makes the Afghan players jump a little. Otherwise, if it's that hittable height, sort of waist high, they just swing through.
Again, works away on the leg side. George Dockrell, always quick to the ball. Perhaps Ireland's best fielder over the last 2 years. Probably started in the early part of his career as one of the worst, but he's developed himself into easily one of the best fielders in the Irish team at the moment. Fantastic fielder. Again, double bluff, very well bowled. Boyd Rankin there, showing his class. And a very good over so far for Ireland and Boyd Rankin. Beautiful areas there. And you could clearly see Zazi was expecting the short ball, but wasn't delivered. Very good bowling, Boyd Rankin.
You're obviously looking at that leg side again. And outside off stump, he finds it a little difficult. After 9, it's 58 for 2.
So there's the summary. Afghanistan 58 for 2 at the end of the 9th, and real interesting contest this so far. It's clear that Ireland have done a lot of homework in the last 2 days and seem to have much better plans. And at 58 for 2, you can certainly see that. So another interesting phase of the game here. Josh Little changing ends, replacing George Dockrell. Oh, and that's a big hit by Asghar. Sometimes you can't quite pick up the trajectory from here, but that's cleared the ropes easily on the leg side, swished away. First ball of the over. And again, as a batter, sometimes you set up for that type of thing. And that's clearly what he's done there.
Went really deep and used the depth of the crease. Slogged it over mid-wicket. He's always looking for that big boundary. That's why the Afghans, you can't count them out, because their boundary hitters can't just relax at any stage. Yes, Ireland have bowled well, but Afghanistan still have the capacity to get a big score.
In one sense, Bazzi nearly appeared premeditated. And again, here's a flash of the wickets. Shazad, again, no balance at all. Simi Singh, grateful for that. And very good bouncer from Chase. Wonderfully caught and easily caught by Dockrell on the boundary. A great start for Ireland. And Afghanistan advance 64 for 2. middle of the 10th over.
Afghanistan's rise in T20 cricket recently is because obviously they've got attacking batsmen, but the spinners that starve the opposition of runs.
Again, deep in the crease. And the overnight rain making sure that that ball didn't go for 4, but a comfortable 2 for Asghar. Again, deep in the crease. Lovely shot through extra cover.
Yeah, hit it through, didn't get enough power to get it to the fence. But obviously, he likes that pace on the ball. Won't be a bad idea for Joshua to just mix it up a little. He has those slow ones. Right now, Asghar is just setting himself up every ball for a big hit.
Again, well bowled by Little. And backing up your point, Baz, 10 boundaries, 6 fours, 4 sixes, tells its own story in terms of what you were talking about. And again, if you consider first T20 after 10 overs, Afghanistan were 115 for the loss of 1 wicket. Now 67 for 2. Getting close to the end of the 10th, but I've always contended side that hits more boundaries generally wins a T20 match. That is an extraordinary shot. That would be regarded as any walk of cricket a very good ball, and he's just wristed this from, well, maybe you'll describe it for me, because I can't, because I never even grew up talking about cricket like that.
Yeah, the flick of the wrist. You see this a lot.
Is that what it is?
You see this a lot in the subcontinental way of batting. It's very full, but it was a terrific shot. These guys are very strong. Strong upper body and strong wrists.
Oh, that is huge. And again, the effects of a previous ball can have on that, and that brings Afghanistan 77 for 2 at the end of the 10th. Halfway stage, Afghanistan 77 for 2, a real good rebuild. Zazi beginning to fire, 44 from 31, and Asghar 29. So interesting phase, and to bring you through the next couple of overs is John Kenny and Niall O'Brien.
That was the 6 from the previous ball. Extraordinary shot. Previous ball as well, just whipped away for 4. Change of bowling from the Pavilion end. They've changed George Dockrell from the Mason Road end into the second half of this Afghanistan innings.
Nice.
I heard the stump cam there. Gary Wilson saying nice. But hearing from the Afghanistan captain is out there in the middle, Asghar Afghan, on Monday saying 130 was a good score around here. They got 160 and they're pushing on now maybe towards a 150 score.
Anything over 150, 160 would be a tough chase for Ireland. They started well, but Afghanistan starting to motor nicely. 2 set batsmen at the crease, 2 strong hitters. Zazai will be eyeing up leg side here. George Dockrell spinning the ball into him.
Bit of width on that occasion, so he cuts it. Andy Balbirnie is the fielder, sweeper, down in front of us. So boundaries that win T20 games Ireland have to stem the flow. Afghanistan, remember, 8 for 2 at one stage. 79 for 2 now. We're in the 11th. George Dockrell trying to field off his own bowling. And does well to cut what was a potential 2 just down to the single.
I think Ireland really need to think about how they're going to get a wicket here. At the moment, the runs are coming, boundaries are coming, singles are coming. Gary Wilson needs to think, how am I going to get a wicket here? Because that's how Ireland will stop the run rate increasing massively and taking this game out of their hands. George Dockrell bowling to Zazai. How is he going to get him out?
Slight adjustment in the field. Paul Stirling's been moved to short, fine leg. Seems like a quicker ball. Squirts down towards Stirling. A lot will depend on Stirling when Ireland come to bat.
Yeah, a lot of whiff, going for that wide Yorker again. But with the captain on strike here, I'd like to see Gary Wilson bring a man into mid-wicket, maybe from the second point. Just try and stop the single. Too easy. Just Stuart Thompson in nice and tight. Dockrell bowling well. He's got good control, Dockrell. The captain, Ashkar, will just look to rotate the strike against the spinners, drop and run. So it's really important that the men in the ring are saving the single. Nice,
A bit flatter that occasion, and a dot ball accrues. End of 11, 81 for 2.
Ireland
81 for 2 after 11. Early success for Ireland, but it's been Afghanistan since. And it's a change of bowling. Now, we didn't see him bowl on Monday. Bit of a part-time bowler. Right arm off break of Paul Stirling. Doesn't practice this a lot. 52 matches for him. He has taken a few wickets, all right, but he's better known as the opening batsman. But Ireland looking for success with more spin. Well, first ball, maybe a loosener, and I guess the treatment straight down the ground. Thumping shot into the Mason Road end, and the Afghanistan supporters celebrate. I'm joined in the commentary box by Andrew Fleming, the chair of Northwest Cricket. We're talking to him in a second, but a bit flat from Stirling. And that's the 50 up for Zazai. 74 on Monday, half century. 34 deliveries. It's prodigious. Anyway, Andrew, welcome to the commentary box. First time to host 2 test-playing nations here.
Yes, it's extremely exciting, and I guess for a lot of us it feels like the culmination of a lot of hard work over a lot of number of years, both here at Brady and in the Northwest, and of course with Cricket Ireland.
Yeah, it's a major sport in this area. Can it compete with football and Gaelic football for participation numbers? How's that working out?
It does. You know, we're officially third in the list of sports in the Northwest after football and Gaelic.
And that's going to go over George Dockrell's head. Paul Stirling has been brought in to try and stymie the runs, but anything but. 6 straight over his head, and now ball whipped around the corner for the second 6 off this Stirling over. And Afghanistan piling on the runs now. 93 for 2. That was a gift. Low full toss, given the treatment by Zazai. And eventually found the ball. But this area of Derry, Londonderry is a real hotbed for cricket, isn't it?
It is. It's got a fantastic tradition that goes back a long way. It's well within our genetics. We've produced some wonderful cricketers over the years, and that goes back a long number of years. It's a very family-oriented sport, as you would know, in this direction, and it's just within our blood, and we're very extremely passionate, which can be both good and bad, but largely it's for the good, and we're just looking to make the game mainstream, and hoping to, as we see, another huge sixth.
Yeah, as soon as you say that, the previous ball was a dot ball, but he just went down on one knee and smacked it over Paul Sterling's head. I don't think Paul Sterling's going to see a second over after that. 3 sixes out of 4 deliveries, and the captain with the hands on his hips, wondering what he's going to do here. Widest kind of delivery, dragged straight over his head, and hit the side screen at the far end. Sterling just watches it and goes, oh no, oh no, oh no.
No, as I was saying, we're looking to, really try to reawaken a passive interest in the sport. I think that is there as an undercurrent within the Northwest, and I think that applies to the entire country, and that's our job over the next number of months and years.
We'll just get one there. Some man fielding it long off is Stuart Thompson, and 100 up for Afghanistan. First 50 coming in 47 deliveries, but look at the second 50, just 24, pretty much 2 runs a ball, and has been helped no end by this particular over. 3 sixes thus far. Last ball of this over for Sterling, and that's going to be just short of the man fielding out there, William Porterfield. And at 12 overs now, Afghanistan 101 for 2. You can see the damage has been inflicted in that last over in particular from Paul Sterling. Doubt we'll see him again. It's Boyd Rankin continuing from the pavilion end. That's given a wide. Up and over the batsman's head. Rankin not happy with that. He's given one for the over. He ducked under it, so a little harsh, I thought. Gary Wilson had a quick word with the umpire after that. That's better from Rankin. Well, it took him a little while to get going. Zazai, but once he did, he's put Ireland's bowlers to the sword, and he was particularly brutal on Paul Sterling in the last over. Josh Little, that was an extraordinary shot, whipped away from his legs and then thumped for 6, and then Sterling got the 3 sixes in a row. That's back live now. That ball just falling short of Simi Singh. Now the good news from the Northwest: the Warriors won the Interpro Series this year, which is brilliant because Leinster have been dominating, haven't they?
They have. It was great to spoil their party. We put together a very good team this year. It was strengthened certainly with William Porterfield coming back from the county scene.
And Niall O'Brien, of course, as well.
And of course with Niall who stand behind us here. really, with those two shoring up, I guess, and showing us how to be so professional. They really helped to bring on the guys like Andy McBride, Stuart Thompson, Craig Young, along with then the 4 or 5 local young guys that are coming through, and now they were pulled together well by what I think is a magnificent coach in Ian McGregor.
Slipped around the corner down to George Dockrell. Also, much mentioned the fact that Munster actually won a T20 game this year as well. So the province is just expanding ever so slightly. Munster don't play in the longer format of the game, but it'd be good to see them eventually do that. But now that Ireland are a full member, what's the next step for both the Northwest Cricket and for Cricket Ireland?
That's a big question. I think the cream of the crop, I suppose, is the international cricket. Having a set future tour program for the next 3 or 4 years is a huge benefit, of course, to the country in terms of cricket. That's a big step forward.
Okay, Andrew, thanks for joining us. Andrew Fleming there, chair of the Northwest Cricket. That's a good rover from Rankin. End of the 13th now. Afghanistan 105 for 2. Afghanistan 105 for 2 at the end of 13. Lloyd Rankin just put the brakes on Afghanistan in that last over. And Paul Sterling, I don't think we're going to see him again, Niall.
I don't think so. Beautiful scenery here in Breedy. I think some of my golf balls from this morning, John, are lost in those fields.
Along with mine. Nice to play the local club this morning.
Catch it, Ducks.
City of Derry. Picturesque ground just up the road from here as well.
It was a lovely morning, but it's turning into a nice evening. George Dockrell, a bit chilly. He's doing a good job for a skipper here.
Down the track, didn't quite get that. Shannon is down there, fielding. Cuts off the boundary. Keeps it to 1. Dockrell's been bowling from both ends, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's been interesting. The seamers have generally bowled from the clubhouse end, whether that's something to do with the wet conditions. But George Dockrell, very flexible, very experienced, knows what he has to do. Goes about his business fairly comfortably. He needs to use all that experience now to try and stifle Zazai, who's in full flow again, entertaining the masses.
Oof. Well, that didn't miss by much.
Good ball from George Dockrell, wide Yorker, inside edge, onto Gary Wilson's leg. It's a good dot ball for Ireland.
Yes. Good stumping attempt from Wilson as well.
Yeah, very good from George Dockrell. Right under the batsman's eyes. Gary Wilson, lovely take, bails off in a flash just in case. Ooh!
Well, attempted diving catch doesn't come off. And Zazai trying to work that on the leg side. William Porterfield, one of the best fielders Ireland have had for many's a year, just couldn't get to the pitch of the ball.
Yeah, great effort from William Porterfield. The best fielder Ireland have ever produced by a long way. If anyone was going to get close to that to catch it, it would have been William. But really good bowling here from Dockrell, really important. He sees the over out.
Yeah, I do remember being in, I'll tell you about that in a second, because the end of the 14th, 107 for 2. That's Ireland's bowling card. It's Paul Sterling, very expensive. 20 runs conceded from his one and only over. Yeah, I was mentioning about William Porterfield, the game against Zimbabwe in the World Cup back in 2015. Porterfield fielding down at long on, long off. I was standing behind him as Zimbabwe were looking for the winning runs, and I was watching the ball high in the sky thinking somebody's got to get under that, and I looked down, it was Porterfield. I went, he's going to catch that one. He has been a tremendous fielder, and indeed a tremendous captain down the years, William Porterfield. Josh Little now from the clubhouse end. No need to look for that. Well, maybe you do. It's probably in the Foyle River. That's the 8-6 to add to the 8-4s. And Ireland, with Afghanistan in trouble at 8 for 2. Now in trouble themselves. Big hit.
No answers for Zazai at the moment, Ireland. They came up with some plans. Plan B for Zazai is working perfectly. Wonderful partnership here from the skipper. And Zazai, 100 partnership is up. One of his biggest sixes of the week. Now there's a bit of a collaboration here. Gary Wilson, Josh Little, Simi Singh throwing his 2 pence worth in. Field changes. People running here, there and everywhere. The ball's thrown back. Rolled back across the wet outfield. Normally not a great idea. Gary Wilson ringing the changes. But at the moment, Afghanistan running away with this innings. And potentially running away with the game. Josh Little, pressure on.
2 for 20 the other day from Josh Little. It's all part of the learning curve for the 18-year-old. Getting a 6, you just then roll the ball down the bat.
Going back to that game against Zimbabwe in Hobart.
2015.
There was one person who didn't want that catch, and it was me.
Now this is the 2 wickets he got the other day. Josh Little, his best bowling figures. And he could have actually played against Afghanistan and India last year, but he pulled out because of his studies. But it was a good performance the other day. 2 for 20. Oh, it's away from Gary Wilson. Tried to play a little Dilshan scoop over the head of the wicket keeper. Didn't quite come off. In fact, he nearly perished there.
Yeah, it was a poor option from the captain because it was a slow ball, so there wasn't much pace to use. And he just nearly lobbed it straight to Gary Wilson. In the end, Peter Chase does well. Covers the keeper, restricts it to a single. Asghar hasn't got going, really. He's 36. He's faced 31 balls. 32 balls now, I stand corrected. Hasn't quite got going. But on the other hand, Zazai doing a fine job catapulting Afghanistan along.
Oh, it's way in the air, but it's going to go over Boyd Rankin's head. He's not going to make that. And that's, well, it's unorthodox to say the least, but it's effective. It's another maximum.
Well, it's an extraordinary shot. The Afghan fans are loving it. Zazai doesn't care. It's 6 more to his total. I thought straight up in the air, but in the end, it's gone a good 60, 70 yards over fine leg. Cleared the boundary comfortably. Another maximum as Afghanistan march on.
His highest T20 score. Scored 18 on debut against the UAE in December 2016. 74 the other day. And that 6 now takes him to 80. Top balls are precious now at this particular juncture. 160 they made the other day. They're heading for that now, if not more.
They should get more than 160 today. 5 overs left, 8 wickets in hand. They should be looking for another, I would think, 50, 60. Smallish boundaries, 2 batsmen set, confidence high. It's going to be difficult for Ireland to chase with the Afghan spinners being so lethal.
Punch shot down the ground to Kevin O'Brien to end that over. 5 overs to go. Afghanistan 1-2-2 for 2. what will be the score. Afghanistan in a very good position now. 1-2-2 for 2 at the end of 15 overs to take you through to the close of the Afghanistan innings. Is Bazik Khan and Alan Lewis.
Thank you very much, John. And Afghanistan steaming along. Bazik. 1-2-2 for 2, and really anything between 170 and 180 looking a real possibility here now. When you consider they were a total of 11 off 4 overs, it's some recovery.
Nice knockers, nice knockers.
Again, you can see George Dockrell going wide there. But interesting, Bazzy, we were talking earlier about maybe the spinner's taking a wee bit more pace off the ball. You know, forcing Zazi, excuse me,
Go on, Knox. Nice, buddy. Nice.
to do something a little bit more thinking.
Yeah, with Dockrell it's a bit difficult because he's spinning into it, and when he slows it up, he'll probably line him through mid-wicket.
Nice.
But to bowl 6 out of 6 there, he's bowled 3 terrific deliveries, but to actually get 6 out of 6 is a difficult ask. The plan is very clear, just outside the off stump, very full, but can he do this for 6 balls?
Well, as you say, if he did, it would probably have been a miracle, but to do 3 in a row is fantastic. And again, Zazi advancing, and Dockrell happy with the single, I would imagine. And again, the skipper probably, again, discussing that with a part congratulatory tone, because 1 off 4 balls at this point of the innings is very good. And George Dockrell at the moment has very impressive figures.
The problem Ireland do have in this format especially is that, unlike Afghanistan, who have power hitters right through from, I would say, 1 to about 6, Ireland went very much so on Sterling to get them off to a fly and then get that impetus into the innings.
And that's just away from us. Great catch by Simi Singh out of deep mid-wicket. And no surprise, Asghar congratulating his partner. And that's the end of Zazi for a fantastic 82 from 54 balls. Brilliant innings.
Dockrell persisting outside off stump, and for once the drag to the leg side didn't work. Had to drag it a long way, but a fantastic innings comes to an end. Zazai 82 with 7 sixes, 124 for 3.
So there's the batting card, as you can see. And there you can see the batting card, completely and utterly dominated by Zazai. What an innings. Some exceptional power hitting. And as Bazzi has said, it's the part of what makes Afghanistan so good at this particular format. They have power hitters everywhere. And coming to the wicket now, Shafiq. And again, a very impressive strike rate. And that's another one, taken very comfortably by George Dockrell. And that is the end, and the 4th wicket. They're now checking front foot, no ball. Josh Little. Oh, Josh Little could be in trouble here. He doesn't really look to have any part of his heel behind the front line there, unless we just haven't got the angle. But might need another angle on that indeed. So we'll just have to see.
Well, a terrific piece of bowling, though, change of pace, and be a shame if he just overstepped. Have to look closely at this. Some part of that foot has to be behind the line.
Well, it's funny, it looks actually a wee bit better from this angle for Ireland and Josh Little. It certainly looks as if there's part of his heel behind the line there. Crowd getting a wee bit agitated here. Certainly wanting to see the fall of the fourth Afghanistan wicket.
So as it is with the batsman, they get the benefit of the doubt. Does the bowler get the benefit of the doubt here?
Well, I think it's the other angle that would be offering strength to the Irish cause, because certainly from here, that looks to have a part of his heel behind the line for me. But it's not my decision. And out he goes. And that's the end of the Captain Asghar. 37 from 34. Afghanistan 124 for 4. So, again, a good phase this for Ireland, because the two set batsmen are gone. Brings two new players to the crease, and as you can see, they're comfortable catch for George Dockrell and Josh Little. Very pleased indeed.
Asghar out for 37, 124 for 4.
You got to for Afghanistan, number 7, Mohammed Nabi.
So that brings the vastly experienced Mohammed Nabi to the crease. Fantastic player for Afghanistan, part of the transition from associate to Test Nation, and one of the leaders of the gang. Fantastic player with bat and ball, but it's bat that he's required now.
Joshua has impressed with his slow balls, and this yet again, the back of the hand slow one, not giving Asghar enough pace to work with. Wanted to launch this out of the ground, didn't get any of it. Another comfortable catch, and this young fella, he's been very impressive.
Well, and again from an Irish perspective, the introduction of some of these young talented players who've come through the system. Niall O'Brien alluded to it earlier. Great to see. And again, slower ball from Little. Very good bowling from him.
Similar to the first game, where Afghanistan ran away in that power play and really had it going, almost looked at this get 200. Then Ireland came back, but it was all a little too late. Today, it's a little better for Ireland if they can make that same sort of comeback in this last 5 overs. They'll be in with a shout.
Again, swept out to the offside. Beautifully fielded by William Porterfield. A position he wouldn't have spent much time in, of course. Captain in all formats for a number of years, and Gary Wilson now taking the reins. So sweeping on the offside, something that Porterfield wouldn't be used to too often. But a great fielder, great leader, great ambassador for his country, William Porterfield. Oh, that's a fantastic shot. Really is a fantastic shot. Again, clearing that left side and sweeping it square of the wicket for 4. Hit the boundary ropes like a tracer bullet.
Again, it's all in the wrist. Little flick of the wrist and it races away square on the offside. It's just that little flourish with the wrist that gets them the power. And Nabi is off and running. He's a very classy player.
And that's going to be 6 more. Again, nearly premeditated from Nabi there, nearly anticipating the slower ball from Little. It's the end of the 17th. Afghanistan 137 for 4. So, the batting card, 137 for 4, 18 balls remaining. I would be thinking Afghanistan would be looking for certainly at least 30. And on this surface, I would have thought 167, 170 would be a hard task for Ireland to chase. And an easy cotton ball there in the end for Peter Chase as Shafiq falls for 2. And again, wickets come at a premium, but the other part about it is where Afghanistan have been very clever is they have wickets in hand.
Yeah, pace off the ball, trying to slog sweep it. Top edge, nicely done. Chase gets a wicket. Yeah, they need to take these wickets because Afghanistan will keep swinging. 137 for 5. Shafiq out for 2.
So Chase continues. Ball lofted to long on. Easily collected by Stuart Thompson. As we look at the wicket again, little cutter from Chase. And you could clearly see from Shafiq the disappointment as Chase takes an easy chance. So brings Zadran to the wicket, who has played against Ireland on many occasions. Again, look at that strike rate. Not so fussed about average, but a strike rate of 142. Very good player, very dangerous player. Oh dear, that will be a disappointment. Bisecting both, probably Simi Singh should have done a wee bit better than that. Ball going for 4. Pull shot from Zadran.
Little things that add up. It's a small ground, ball does fizz away to the fence, but all honesty, that should have been stopped. A couple of runs gifted to Afghanistan.
And again with third man up and Deep square. Anything bisecting that field will go away for 4. And that's exactly what's happened. And it's what I've alluded to earlier, and Baz as well. Already 8 off 2.
Yeah, 11th boundary for Afghanistan to go with those 10 sixes, this time short and wide. Very good square of the wicket. Just throwing it, hands at it, and no boundary riders, so yet another boundary.
And interesting, we had a wide given in a Boyd Rankin over. That looked a wee bit more wide than the previous one. No signal from the square leg umpire. So a precious dot ball for Ireland and Peter Chase as we get to the end of the 18th over. Good fielding. It's the end of the 18th. Afghanistan 147 for 5. Impressive batting card for Afghanistan, of course, dominated by Zazi. 82 from 54. Electric innings. Shots going long and far out of Breedia. Ground not big enough for him as Rankin comes back. And Boyd Rankin has bowled really well here today. Buzzy.
Yeah, very important for the Irish side. Just gone for 13 into his last over now. Just needs to close it out as well. He's added a little dimension, a little more confidence, a little more of something to contain with for the Afghanistan players, the bounce that he's got. But very important, these last 5 deliveries that he bowls.
And again, an easy catch in the deep there for Stuart Thompson. Whether or not we have any ideas of the potential of a no ball or not, I'm not sure. But it again appears not. As Nabi goes for a quick fire 12 and 5. They're actually now checking the front foot, we've just heard.
Front foot looks fine, and maybe they'll check for the height, but I suspect that'll be all right as well. But I feel that's fine as well. They'll be not timing it, and looks like he'll have to go back. So Afghanistan seem to be losing. We're just again just checking for that height of the full toss, and well, it looks all right, but like you said, it's not our decision, but looks to be below waist level.
I'd agree with you. Certainly looks below waist level for me. We await the signal of umpire Mark Hawthorne. Yes, and it's duly confirmed by Mark Hawthorne, and it's the end of Nabi, and it's brought the king of spin, Rashid Khan, to the crease. A dasher also with the bat. Loves the bat in his hand, Rashid. Loves cricket full stop, Rashid. He's a fantastic inspirational type character and a wonderful cricketer.
But this is good for Ireland. They're getting those wickets. Obviously, Afghanistan will still come hard at them, but if you keep on getting a wicket, that's a wicket and a dot ball, which is so vital at this stage.
No, certainly Zadran looked in there. They're going to have a check, though, so we'll see whether he, in true tradition, ran his bat in, but he certainly looked in from our angle here. We're at a very good angle, of course, which wouldn't be normal circumstance, square of the wicket. Paul Sterling, the thrower.
And you'd already called not out from here because you've got the best angle.
Thank you very much, Ozzy. But again, it's only one run, as you say, and singles and dots, so precious. Again, very good from Boyd Rankin. Rashid Khan looking to elevate it down, but Ireland again have a third man down there, but he was probably looking to get that over the keeper. Clever from Khan.
Yeah, Boyd Rankin just with his pace and bounce has troubled the Afghan batsman a little touch more than the other bowlers.
And again, another wicket. Stuart Thompson again, and it's richly deserved for Boyd Rankin. He's bowled just fantastically well here for Ireland with great intelligence, varying his lengths and whatnot. And that's the end of Rashid Khan. 149 now for 7.
Just a bounce again, hitting Rashid Khan's splice of the bat, and another wicket. So Rankin doing an exceptional job. Rashid Khan gone without scoring, 149 for 7.
Will score. For Afghanistan, number 55, Al-Taab Malam.
Again, wonderful bowling from Rankin there. And that's the end of his 4-over spell. 2 for 14. Afghanistan 149 for 7. So there we are, 149 for 7. End of a fantastic spell from Boyd Rankin. Won't bowl many better spells for Ireland than that. 2 for 14 in his 4 overs. Only hit for 1 boundary and 14 dots. So fantastic return for him as we venture to the last over from Chase.
Rankin with his height gets a lot of bounce, and again with that bounce, missed timing, splice off the bat, and just managed to scoop it up to mid-off. Boyd Rankin showing his class and showing his experience and delivering for Ireland today.
And I have to apologise to our viewers and Pembroke members. That was caught, of course, by Andrew Balbirnie and not Stuart Thompson. Again, swept leg side. Simi Singh gathers, and they're through for an easy 2. Afghanistan. But been again a topsy-turvy type game, but in the sense that we spoke about 3 overs earlier, maybe Afghanistan getting 170, 180, and with 4 balls remaining, again, look at that, the loss of 5 wickets, fantastic. Again, that was clearly a wide.
It's the nature of the beast when Afghanistan are batting, because they'll go hard, so there's very likelihood that they'll lose wickets in a jiffy. They'll lose quite a few wickets because they play those high-risk shots straight away.
Well, perhaps the turning point for them, Bazzi, was losing the 2 main players within consecutive deliveries. Oh, and that has been absolutely smashed square for 6 by Zadran, and again emphasised earlier what a dangerous player he is. And there we are, 19 from 9 deliveries, and Ireland have seen this all before from Zadran. A slower ball from Chase, and dispatched over deep square for 6.
And that's the other side of the coin. They do go hard, they do go long, and once they middle it, it stays hit. So the boundaries keep flowing, whether they lose wickets or not. So they've got very talented hitters off the cricket ball.
There, Bazzi, is an extraordinary stat. 11 sixes and 11 fours. So you can do your totals. 22 balls for guts of 100 runs. And it's the telltale piece of T20 cricket. And it's what makes Afghanistan so good, as that one squirts away on the offside, and Zadran upset with himself. But they're just a fantastically entertaining team.
It's almost very similar to the Windies. They play T20 in a similar vein. They just go for those boundaries, and the boundary hitting actually has given them a lot of success because it's a shorter format, because the boundaries are so important that sometimes the role of rotating the strike is not as important as boundary percentage.
Bowled by Peter Chase. You'd nearly make a case, Bazzi, for the boundaries to be actually bigger, not smaller. I think there's been a propensity in many cases to make 6s look a little bit easy, and when you're seeing top edges go for 6, it's a tough game for bowlers.
Yeah, very much so. But this total 160 now, last ball coming up, both sides will be, well, pretty happy with it. Ireland will back themselves to get it.
And that's in the air, going over extra cover. Very good catch from Andrew Balbirnie, who's possibly hurt himself. No, he seems okay. So, as he said, 160 is a little bit even, Stephen. One had the feeling if it was 20 more, but they finish on 160 for 8 at the end of their 20 overs.
Fantastic catch. Running back is always difficult when you're running back, but he kept himself a little sideways towards the ball and gets a good catch. So 160 after 20.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting run chase now, but the telling point for me, having watched the amount of cricket that both teams play,